Welcome to the series CyberSec, A Way of Life, brought to you by LnDToday and powered by ARCON Tech Solutions. Our leader today is a well-rounded professional with over 20 years of rich industry experience across the industry. He comes with hardcore experience in the financial domain, having worked with companies like Khan and now Tradebulls Securities. His work has been towards transforming the IT portfolio of the companies he has worked with, from planning budgets to creating a roadmap to implementing large-scale IT transformation, product development, and digital marketing. He's here with us today to share his insights on the cybersecurity industry and what the industry holds for the stakeholders in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ahmed Mitha, CTO at Tradebulls Securities. Thank you, Anis, for joining us today.
Hi, thanks.
With the whole world coming online literally, what kind of threats are the most damaging ones, and how do organizations deal with them?
In the present cyber world, no company is safe. There can be any motivation or objective behind an attack. It can be corporate espionage, business disruption, or financial gain. But these attacks are becoming more and more sophisticated and pervasive. Mounting a good defense requires understanding the offense. According to me, the most damaging threats are ransomware, password attack, DDoS, phishing attack, man-in-the-middle SQL injection, and insider attack. Ransomware as a threat has really picked up over the last 5 years, as cyber criminals are using highly sophisticated tools and techniques to disrupt the remote workforce and coerce the organization into paying large amounts as ransom. Not a day goes by where you don't see a news of the latest victim of the massive losses that they have incurred. There is a seemingly exponential increase in the frequency and the damage caused by the ransomware attacks. And the loss is not only ransom, which is now commonly goes to around 7 figures, but the loss of revenue, restoration costs, investigation costs, in case where the ransom is not paid. For an organization, source of threats can be hackers, nation states, criminal groups, terrorist organizations, terrorist group, activists, malicious insiders, corporate spies, anyone. And the loss is not only the financial damage, it can also lead to lawsuits, reputational damage, penalties by the regulators, business continuity disruption, and much more. Now, how to deal with those threats? First of all, we need to assess as to what do we need to protect in our data and IT infrastructure. Know what the crown jewels are, what assets hacker may try to steal or hold ransom. Identify the vulnerabilities, understand how to manage those risks. Data is the new oil, but not all the data is of equal importance. So we need to categorize and prioritize it on the basis of criticality and confidentiality, keeping in mind business, revenue, and operational impact. Since every step that we take to protect it, there's an X amount of cost attached to it. Then we need to assess our available resources in terms of budget, manpower, expertise, security tools and infrastructure, and so on. The next step will be to take an expert help from an external security consultant or in-house security team to analyze the current security landscape of the organization and identify the gaps. Make a task list to cover the gaps on the basis of criticality of the risk. Also make sure that the security advisor has some knowledge of your domain. It will really make your job very easy. Then an organization should be compliant with the data regulations and that apply to their industry and geographical location. They should be updated with the new compliance regulations to leverage the benefits it brings with it. Most of the time, organizations implement compliance taking it just as a formality in order to avoid penalty or punishment. Since it's a half-hearted approach, the quality of implementation and the security benefits by implementing those policies and procedures are reduced drastically. Then we have cyber resilience framework in place to respond to emerging threats and recover quickly from a cyber attack. Next, transfer the financial risk by getting a cyber insurance. Also, while forming the policies, make sure the fundamental security concepts that is the CIA triad standard, is met by the organization. Then take care of few basic but important cybersecurity concepts that are at times people tend to overlook, like install patches and updates as soon as possible. Take proper backup of your data. Set up a well-planned BCP-DR with timely testing. Use multi-factor authentication. Initiate phishing simulations. Configure your firewall to whitelist only the specific ports and hosts you need. Keep your password strong. Continuously audit your IT systems. And finally, train your teams to be human firewalls. Provide timely training to your team, and it should start from the top.
MSME sectors are huge, they're growing. How can they prevent themselves from cyber threats?
Cybersecurity is an area of serious concern for MSMEs, and the vulnerabilities of these businesses stem from several factors such as the lack of understanding of cybersecurity risk, less prioritization of cyber safety, and limited capital allocation. At times, most of the SMEs are very confident that they have implemented the best practice to mitigate or prevent an event. But however, in reality, when investigated, it comes out that not even the fundamental protection points were addressed. Despite an increasing concern over the cyber risk, less than half of the organizations have implemented some very basic protection. Some companies don't have the required resources to dedicate to IT and cyber security services. So in order to protect themselves, SMEs should start looking into some crucial areas and tools that are missed out. They can start with getting a good intrusion and detection software, conduct a cyber assessment, contracting with security vendors, and having a proper documented business continuity plan. Since most of the SMEs have a serious budget constraint, they should discuss with the cyber security advisor and get a clear understanding of good to have and must have in cyber security setup. They should first focus on must have, and even the list of must have, they should define priority depending upon the risk involved. In cybersecurity, the question is not of whether to spend or not, but it's of how much to spend.
Cyber insurance is still at a nascent stage in India. Do you think it's going to grow in the coming years?
The simple answer is yes. As far as cybersecurity is concerned, no one is immune. Cyber insurance is one of the best ways to help you to protect your business. With the present cybersecurity condition, most of the organizations have realized the financial risk involved in case of a cyber incident. Cybercrime is costing organizations billions of dollars every year, and this number is growing. Not surprisingly, cyber risk has emerged as one of the top 3 risks which concerns chief risk officers and enterprise insurance buyers. Head in the sand approach or ignoring risk is never a good idea. One interesting perspective is that at times it may cost too much to mitigate the risk. For example, there are companies having their critical systems working on some old apps which run on unsupported database versions, or a manufacturer is having some old, very expensive machines that might be running on Windows 7, and it might be impossible to upgrade. The cost of replacing the machines might run into millions, and also it will need a lot of time and effort to do it. In such a case, in spite of knowing the risk, it makes an economic sense not to upgrade immediately. In order to cover the risk, we can take help of cyber insurance.
Well, Anis, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. I got to learn a lot from this interaction, and I'm sure the audience will also get to learn a lot from your conversation. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.